just finished giving another speech, and that included me talking about these two constitutional amendments that you have on the ballot when you go out and vote early. And at the request of Lindsay, she says, stop where you are, pull over and do a video and give a brief summary of these two constitutional amendments. So here you go. Amendment 1 deals with homestead exemptions. And what this amendment is doing is you are being asked to vote to give the state General Assembly, the House and Senate, the opportunity to cap how much a local government, a city, a county, a consolidated government, a school system, how much they can increase your property taxes on your house year by year. That's all the amendment is doing. If it passes, the current bill we have in place will actually cap what these local governments can do year by year when it comes to increasing your property taxes at the rate of inflation. So they cannot increase your taxes on your house if it's your homestead that you have a homestead exemption on. They can't increase those taxes more than the rate of inflation every single year. Very important, in my opinion, to get that into law. Second, the tax court bill. This is actually a bill that I carried, the tax court amendment. It's a bill that I carried that creates this amendment in the Senate. This is a little bit in the weeds. Stick with me if you will on this. I think it's important you know what you're voting on. Currently, there is a tax court. The tax court sits under the executive branch of government. It actually sits in what we call the Administrative Procedures Court. And that court will hear matters you have a dispute with the state over your taxes, with the Department of Revenue, with your business, or personally, you air those out in that tax court. The problem is twofold. One, that tax court is under the executive branch, the same branch that you are actually arguing with. And so we are creating a separate court under the judiciary, the judicial branch of government, to hear these disputes instead. So that's more of an academic issue that I think is important, but also logistically, right now, if you do not win your case in that tax court, you have one place you can go to appeal, and that's the Fulton County Superior Court. No offense to my friends in Fulton County Superior Court, but they're a very busy court. And also, you do not, unless you live in Fulton County, get a chance to even vote for the judges that serve on that court. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to make people from around our state go to Fulton County with the backlogs they already have and to wait to have your appeal heard. With this new tax court, if this amendment passes, you'll not only have a standalone court under the judiciary, the judicial branch of government, but you'll also be able to take your appeals directly to the Georgia Court of Appeals and Georgia Supreme Court if you aren't successful. You won't have to go through the process of Fulton County first, and you do get to vote for your judges on the Court of Appeals and your justices on the Supreme Court. I'm hearing a couple things, a couple rumors about this amendment that are just not true. One is that it now requires you to hire a lawyer if you have a tax dispute. Well, the new tax court being set up is set up the same way the current one is, meaning that you can represent yourself. If it is a self-owned business that's not incorporated, you can also represent that business. There are already laws in place, which this does not change, where if you're an incorporated business, you do have to have a lawyer in these types of courts. That does not change. That's not impacted by this amendment. So it's not true that this amendment is going to require you now go hire a lawyer. You don't currently have to hire one. Second thing I keep hearing is that now you're going to have your case heard by unelected judges. The current tax court judge and the executive branch is not elected. The same will be the case here. These judges are appointed. However, once you appeal, you actually will go to judges, as I said earlier, that you do get to vote on that are elected statewide, the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, if you have an appeal. So this amendment does not change the current system with how the tax court judge is appointed. That stays in place. And it does mean now that the opposite is true from what I'm reading, in that you will actually be in front of judges for appeal that you do get to vote on since you want to go to the Fulton County Superior Court. So with that, if you have any questions about either one of these, feel free to reach out directly. Hopefully everybody's out there voting early.